Hello everybody, it's me Colton Johnson with MT Popcorn Bucket Productions. What's that? Oh, Shrek, yeah. Why Shrek? You might ask. Well, it's been hinted at in the last few videos. I even made a short on it on this channel and TikTok and Reels. Go check those out. So I'm making a video where I watch the Shrek movies. Well, I already watched all the Shrek movies and Puss in Boots. But like I did with the Marvel movies and the Disney live actions, I watched all of them, ranked them, reviewed them, and that's what this video is. So I'm going to be going through the movies that I watched. You'll see my thoughts, my feelings, my frustrations. There's not a lot, I promise. And you'll be able to hear what I think about Shrek. And at the end of the video, you'll come back to me. Most of it will be audio. You'll come back to me and we'll talk about Shrek 5. And what my thoughts and my feelings and my idea for the movie might be. But stay tuned for the end of the video. And I have other stuff coming soon. I'll talk about that later as well. So sit back, relax, grab some popcorn if you will like to do that, maybe, I don't know, and enjoy. And so I'll see you in a second. Well, I'll see you, you'll hear me in a second. So, yeah. So here's the lineup of movies that I watched for the purpose of this video. I decided to go with release order because I felt like that was the best way to do it. So we got Shrek, Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, Shrek Forever After, Puss in Boots, Shrek the Musical, Puss in Boots Last Wish, and I decided it'd be fun to also talk about Shrek 4D, which is also known as the Ghost of Lord Farquaad. The Shrek franchise has honestly been one of my favorite animated franchises, and definitely my favorite childhood movies, after the Toy Story movies. I also low-key had a crush on Princess Fiona as a kid. Well, the years start coming, and they won't stop coming, and Shrek still is a cultural icon. That I can't even explain all the memes and everything that comes with it, but I love Shrek, and the world loves Shrek too. And I'm talking about Shrek, and people do love Shrek too, and I'm getting ahead of myself. Before I completely jump into these movies, please go check out this awesome video that I did on my channel nearly 2 years ago, and stay tuned for more awesome videos to come. Without further ado, let's hop in our onion carriage, travel to far, far away, and uncover some of those onion layers along the way to talk about Shrek. Shrek is one of my all-time favorite animated movies, as well as one of my favorite movies of all time. So, going into this, I'm already super biased. There's just something so special about a well-crafted original movie that takes a genre and flips it on its head. This is also one of the most quotable movies and rewatchable movies that I've ever seen. This movie could have been a one-and-done ordeal, but we got more, and I'm not even mad about it. I love the twist of this movie. In my opinion, this is probably one of the best non-Disney animated movies. This movie is for all ages, and even at 25, I still laugh my head off with some of the jokes. There's also some jokes that are more geared towards an older audience. There's just something for everyone in this movie, so this movie gets S tier, or 5 out of 5. Next up we have Shrek 2. This movie is legit the definition of my childhood. I would watch this movie on repeat. This is what you call a great sequel. It improves on the original and doesn't rehash the same story. And I feel like this has the same vibes, but also a lot more world building. I feel like watching these movies as an adult makes them just so much better. And the introduction of Puss in Boots is also super fun. I feel like we didn't get enough Fiona in this movie, but the moments we do are pretty good. Overall, this movie is fantastic and a great sequel. This one gets an A, or 4.5 out of 5.
Then we have Shrek the Third. I remember being 7 years old when this came out, so back then I thought it was cool, but I think I saw it at a drive-in, which made it even cooler. With that being said, it's the inferior Shrek sequel. Has some very funny moments, but feels less than the others. I feel like the third act is really fun as well, but this is probably my least favorite of the main four. I do think that the plot feels a little bit rushed, and there's some very unfunny lines. I do love the world building that it continues, and I do like how they had more Fiona in this movie and kind of showed her perspective as well. Though it's not the best, it's still fun nonetheless. This gets a C, or 3 out of 5. Now we have Shrek Forever After. I feel like whoever says they don't like this movie, or at least enjoys watching it, is lying. This movie is fantastic. I love how they went throughout they did with the story. This is just very heartwarming, and honestly, rewatching these movies has helped me build a new perspective of the characters and just the world that it's trying to show. This takes the classic It's a Wonderful Life approach and tells an engaging story with an exciting villain. It introduces some pretty exciting ideas as well, providing also some of the greatest quotes. I feel like this movie is underrated and overall a great time. It may not reach the same heights as the first two, but what it does is tell a great story and a handful of great laughs. Another way these movies have impacted me is looking at my journey as a husband and a father. Sometimes I'm a grumpy ogre, especially at 3 a.m. wake-ups from my daughter. I also love onions, but at the end of the day, I love my wife and I love my family, and I would do whatever it takes to make them happy. This movie reminded me of that, and the other movies have also given me good reminders too. This one gets an A, surprisingly, but not surprisingly, because opinions are opinions, or 4 out of 5. Puss in Boots. So, Puss in Boots was never really one of my favorite movies out of these movies, because I felt like the story was generic and predictable. I also was annoyed that they changed a little bit of the animation style away from what they had in Shrek. It's the same universe, so why can't they keep the same style? And I get there's advancements in animation, but overall, I feel like consistency is important. This movie does have some fun moments, and I love Puss in Boots as a character, but I do think Humpty Dumpty is annoying as heck, and that's just my opinion. I do appreciate they didn't ignore the fact that this is a fairy tale based world with fairy tales to be told. But overall, it's not too bad. This one gets a C, or 3 out of 5. Shrek the Musical. I think Shrek the Musical is an absolute blast of a time. I was a little skeptical when it first released, or when I heard it was even a musical. I actually had to do a dance from the show in 4th grade. But I think this musical has a lot of fun elements, and I'm really glad they made it into a pro shot so I can enjoy it at home. The songs are really fun and catchy, and the characters are a lot of fun as well. And it's fun to dive into Shrek's character a little bit more. It would be interesting to see if they did a Shrek 2 the musical, but I doubt that will happen because sequels to musicals don't really pan out that well. There's a lot of fun moments that make fun of musicals that are just a lot of fun, and I really like it. They also gave Lord Farquaad a fun backstory, which is pretty funny too. I feel like this is the closest we're ever going to get to a Shrek live-action remake. But in the world that we do live in, and we're getting a How to Train Your Dragon remake happening, we never know. But this one gets an A, or 4.5 out of 5. Now, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. This movie is incredible, and I love this movie. The animation is absolutely beautiful, and I love how the animation played into that fairy tale world. This is definitely a step up from the other Puss in Boots movie. I love the cheeky fairy tale references, and I feel like this movie truly focuses on his character a lot more and gives him a reason to care about him. And also, who doesn't love Florence Pugh? She does a fantastic job as Goldilocks. This movie also sets up some fun adventures to come, especially Shrek 5, which I'll talk about in a little bit. Overall, it's a heartfelt and engaging story, so this one gets an A, or 4.5 out of 5. Now, here's our bonus one, which is Shrek 4D, or The Ghost of Farquaad. This is a fun little adventure that works as a prologue to Shrek 2. I've actually experienced this in Orlando before they closed it at Universal Studios. Though I appreciate it for what it was, I think it could have been better, though I think that the Shrek franchise should have better attractions than a splash pad and a donkey meet and greet. This one gets a C, 3 out of 5. Now, here's where things get fun. My ranking of the Shrek franchise. Here's my nifty little tier list, and since we had nothing to go under C tier, this will just be from S tier to C tier. This franchise was honestly really hard to rank because, genuinely, all of them are pretty good movies in my opinion. First, we have Shrek at the top of S tier. Then we have the top of A tier, which is Shrek 2, followed by Shrek the Musical, and then keeping it fresh, we have Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. Then rounding out A tier, we have Shrek Forever After. Then we'll move down to C tier, where we have Shrek the Third, Shrek 4D, and then Puss in Boots. Honestly, I didn't realize there was going to be no B tier, and I honestly was anticipating at least Shrek Forever After, but thanks to my rewatch, I honestly enjoyed it more. Now, we're going to move back to me in video form, where I'll talk about Shrek 5 and the future of the Shrek franchise, and more to come to the channel, so I'll see you in a second.
I'm back in video form. Wow! I hope you enjoyed my rankings and reviews and thoughts and whatever of the Shrek movies. I think Shrek is honestly some of the best movies, in my opinion. I think not all of them are perfect, but they're super fun to watch, and Shrek is such an iconic character that who doesn't love him? Well, we have Shrek 5 coming out next year, which will come out the tail end of next year. It was supposed to come out actually I think a week after Toy Story 5, which I have my own opinions about that, and we'll talk about it another time. But I think Shrek 5 has a lot of potential. I think that there's going to be a time gap of some sorts, a time jump. They're going to definitely age up some of the characters, especially the kids. And I think it would be fun to see Shrek's triplets as teenagers. There's actually a rumor right now that one of the triplets will be played by Zendaya, which might be pretty interesting to see. But I think one idea that I do have with the whole public domain thing, I think it would be interesting. I don't know if to even include him as a villain or whatever, but I feel like there needs to be some cheeky reference to Pooh Bear and Mickey Mouse. I think that would be hilarious. Very meta, mainly Mickey Mouse, just because the creation of Shrek was in a way a middle finger to Disney. And so, not saying anything against Disney, I love Disney, I legit have a Mickey Mouse hat on my desk. But I just feel like that'd be a lot of fun. I think another idea that would be interesting, especially that we got to see that there was more ogres in the world in the last film, is Shrek potentially reuniting with his parents or even his father and realizing the deeper meaning to why Shrek was sent away as a kid. Maybe there was an outside danger and that danger has emerged. It would also be interesting, but I think not as original if they brought back villains like the Fairy Godmother or Farquaad or Prince Charming. But, they can do whatever. I'd like a new villain because that would be better. But if there's some references or even time travel, we sort of had some sort of, not really time travel, but more so an alternate universe in the last one. But time travel might be interesting. I don't love that idea. Flashbacks might be better to see Shrek as a kid, or maybe even Fiona as a kid, and to see the true meaning of her transformation. Another idea that I kind of thought about is diving a little more into Donkey's backstory. But there's a rumor that they're actually going to be making a Donkey movie, which might be fun. Eddie Murphy has talked about it. Or another idea is maybe one of the teenagers have the same curse as Fiona, except for it's like the opposite. So instead of being turned into an ogre, because they're already an ogre, what if they get turned into a human? I think that would be pretty interesting to see. And that's just an idea that I have. But I don't know. I think it's fun. I enjoyed it. I enjoy these ideas. I'm excited for Shrek 5. I hope you enjoyed this video. I have other videos coming soon. I am actually going to rewatch Dune Part 1 and Dune Part 2. It's been highly recommended by one of my really good friends. And so I'm going to do that pretty soon. But thank you so much for watching. What's your favorite Shrek movie? Shrek is a lot of fun, and I'd like to know. So leave it down in the comments below. Also, go check out my TikTok, my LetterBoxd, my Instagram. I have a Facebook page. Go check it out. Links below. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. I am planning to make a lot more fun videos. So stay tuned. Mickey 17 is coming out, so I'll be doing a review of that. So stay tuned for that. Again, please subscribe. I really want to hit 200 subscribers by maybe the end of March. So that would be pretty great. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day. And bye! What are you doing in my swamp?